What's up, YouTube? Zorda coming at you with another banger video. But before we get started with this video, I do want to thank you guys for all the recent support, all the recent subs, and all the nice comments. Thank you so much for the comments and the likes and all that. Let's just jump into this video, guys. So, UFC chin tier list, right? We're going to be looking at all these different fighters, you know, from around the UFC, and we're going to be ranking them based on how good their chin is, right? So it's pretty self-explanatory. Also, I should say this, though. Even if a fighter has been knocked down, if they're able to recover very fast, they might still have a good chin, okay? So I'm not going to count knockdowns all the time against these guys, all right? But let's get started with... Who should we start with? We'll start off with Steve Erceg. All right, so Steve Erceg, dude, I thought he had a really good chin up until the Kai Kara France fight, and that exposed him a little, but I don't know whether to put him... I guess we'll have to put Steve Erceg in the B tier, because he did get knocked out by Kai Kara France, but you know, Kai's a fucking beast, bro. Kai knocks out everybody in the first round, so I don't know if you can count it too much against him. You know, it could have been a stylistic nightmare for Steve. You never want to count that against him, because he was eating some pretty good shots from Pantoja. Pantoja might not be the biggest knockout guy, but still, guys, I mean, Steve Erceg, we'll put him in the B tier for now. It might change. Let's move on to the next guy. You know, we can't speak about these guys for too long, so we'll move on to Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall. I don't know. I might put him in the... Dude, I don't know if I should save the S tier for, like, really good... I'll just put him in the A tier for now, because he hasn't been... Has he been wobbled? I don't recall him getting wobbled, and he's eaten some pretty big shots from guys like Pavlovich. Even Curtis Blaydes hit him with a couple jabs, you know, the Sweet V special. And yeah, I mean, recently, especially, he hasn't been wobbled in any of his fights. And you know, I know Jon Jones over here would probably say that he's fucking getting wobbled every fight, put him in the F tier, but for now I think we're gonna keep Tom in the A tier. I think most of you guys could agree with that. Obviously, he's never been knocked out, so I don't think you can count it against him. I think he's in the A tier, right? Let's move on to Chito Vera. Chito Vera. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. He got dropped by a flyweight. Just fucking kidding. He's in the S tier. Okay. If you want to debate me on this, there's no debate. I mean, before the Figgy fight, everyone would have him in the S tier, especially after he ate those shots from Sean O'Malley, like the knee and, you know, all those shots. But now people are, maybe their narrative has changed because, bro, you got dropped by a fucking flyweight, bro. What you on about? I don't care, okay? The shot that Figgy hit him with, he did not see coming, obviously, which, I mean, duh, it's a fucking knockdown, but he didn't see it coming, and he recovered instantly. Was fucking Chito dazed after? Was he wobbling around the octagon, hitting the Irish jig? No, he wasn't. He instantly recovered. It was a second that he didn't fucking see the shot coming. He got right back up, so we can't count that against him, right? He's had fucking, like, 30 fights, like, 28 fights or something in the UFC. That's his first time getting knocked down. Obviously, it's an S tier chin, okay? Let's move on to... Let's move on to Cody Gardbrant. Cody Gardbrant, I don't know if I should put him in the... I think I should put him in the A tier maybe, right? I'm thinking... Nah, I'm gonna have to put him down here. I don't know about F tier or D tier. For now, we'll put him in the F tier, because he is getting knocked out by... You know, he gets knocked out by everybody. That's what we kind of know about Cody Gardbrant. He gets dropped by everybody. There's been rumors that, you know, there was a really windy day at the PI and he got knocked down by the wind. You know, it's kind of sad when you hear these stories about Cody Gardbrant, man. But I think we're gonna have to put him in the F tier for now. I mean, sure enough, he could jump up to the S tier. You know, you never know. This might change when I go through this list, but for now, he's gonna be the F tier, mate. Let's move on to Style Benza. Style Benza, I'm gonna have to put him in the... Ooh, this is hard. He does get... I don't want to put him in the same tier as Tom Aspinall, but I think he does belong there. But the thing is, he gets... No. He has to be... I'm sorry. He has to be B tier, bro. Let me move my cam because I don't want this getting in the way. But he has to be B tier, and I'll explain why. You know, obviously, I'm not only counting the Alex Pereira knockout TKO or whatever up against the fence against him, but he does get wobbled. Like, he was getting wobbled in the Dricus fight. The sequence that led up to the submission was Izzy getting fucking wobbled, right? He was getting wobbled during, like, every round. I felt like there was a moment where he got wobbled, or at least was, like, backing up, you know, covering his head. And dude, you got dropped by Sean Strickland, okay? So it's a B tier's respectable, right? You might see Steve Erceg, who just got knocked out, but Steve is not getting knocked out by that many people, guys. So I mean, it's a respectable spot you know, the B tier is a respectable spot. We don't hate these guys. Let's move on to Jon Jones. Jon Jones is the GOAT. Let me tell you guys, Jon Jones. You put this guy in a room with anybody, he is walking out. We'll put him in the S tier. You know, I mean, I'm not the biggest Jon Jones fan. You know, I'm a bit of a hater. I'm sorry to tell you guys, I'm a bit of a hater, but yeah, he's an S tier chin, right? He has an S tier chin. He's had so many fights, and he's not getting dropped that often in these fights. I know, you know, Jon Jones has never been knocked down in the UFC, right? That's an amazing stat that we look at. You know, obviously he's had a couple slips, a couple sus moments, but he doesn't get wobbled. He doesn't really, you don't see it often, right? So we'll have to give our flowers to Jon Jones, right? And we'll have to put him in the S tier. Let's move on to Jiri Prochazka. Bro, he just got chinned by Alex Pereira twice, bro. He's fucking C tier. I'm just kidding, guys. Jiri Prochazka. Fuck. Dude, I want to put him in the A tier, and I want to explain why, okay? Yeah, you know, this might be terrible. He might deserve to be in the B tier. I might move him in a second, but we'll see. You know, I'm a little biased towards Jiri, but let me explain why, right? He was allowed to get dropped by Alex Pereira and knocked out by Alex Pereira. And the first one was a bit of an early stoppage. Obviously, the second one he got completely outclassed. Very sad to see for me. But if we're looking at it objectively, the reason Jiri deserves to have an A tier chin and should be in the A tier is because he has no defense. He is eating shots from everybody at light heavyweight that is not named Alex Pereira, right? I mean, Volkanovski was hitting this guy clean on the chin, didn't put him out. We obviously know Volkanovski's a beast, right? Fucking Rakic, bro. He went a whole round just eating shots from Rakic, just putting his chin on a silver platter, and he didn't get hit, or he didn't get fucking knocked down or knocked out against Rakic. So he deserves to be in the A tier. And honestly, it's not even that biased. I know I'm a Jiri fan, but guys, getting knocked out 2 times, not that bad when you're getting hit by 6,000 shots, okay? And I'm pretty sure before the Pereira fight, a lot of people would agree with this, but, you know, after the Pereira knockouts, some people might have changed their mind, but I haven't, okay? Because he still has a great chin if he's able to eat this many shots. Next up, we got the king himself, Dominick Reyes. The only man to beat Jon Jones, so I think he deserves the S tier because, you know, if he's beat Jon Jones, then he should be in the S tier, but we're gonna have to put him in the F tier. I know. I'm sorry, guys. But I think we can most of us can agree with this, that he is about an F tier when it comes to chin. He's getting fucking knocked out by everybody. This is another guy who gets knocked out by the wind, right? He wakes up on the wrong side of the bed and he gets knocked out, right? It's just sad seeing Dominick Reyes nowadays. When he's in that octagon, I start shaking, man. I literally start shaking because I just get scared that any shot that this guy takes could fucking knock him out. You could touch him with the pinky finger to the chin and he'll get knocked out. So we're going to have to put him in the F tier, unfortunately, right? But I think most of us could agree with that. Most of us could agree with this take. Islam Makhachev, we're going to put him at the A tier when it comes to chin, right? Now, I know you're probably saying, bro, what are you talking about? This guy got knocked down in 2005. I remember watching it live. I don't care. I don't care about his only time getting knocked out. If you're looking at it objectively, he deserves to be in the A tier after all the shots he's eating from guys that have decent power, right? He was slugging with Dustin Poirier, right? And you know, sure enough, he did get knocked down by Volk, and actually he did. I will say this: Volk did piece him up a little bit and knock him down a couple times in that fight. You know, I know the UFC is weird when it comes to fucking counting knockdowns, where somebody will obviously get put on their fucking ass and it won't be a knockdown, but then Chito Vera will fucking get knocked down for 1.2 seconds and it'll be a knockdown, and everybody makes a big deal of it, but you know, whatever. Islam, yeah, I think he's A tier for now. I've seen enough proof to put him in this tier and not discredit him because of that knockout that happened in 2005, but it's whatever. Let's move on to the next guy. Merab Dvalishvili. I'm going to put Merab in C tier. I think Merab is C tier when it comes to his chin. You know, I do see this guy get wobbled quite a bit, and that is something that we need to consider when we're making a tier list like this, right? So, Merab, I mean, he's a fucking beast, but he's getting rocked a decent amount. He's getting dropped by Henry Cejudo. Not the best thing to see. So he's going to be about a C tier when it comes to chin, you know. He's not on the level of guys like Izzy and Steve Erceg. You know, I know you guys are saying Steve Erceg just got knocked out, but whatever. When we're looking at it more objectively, you know, I'm very objective when it comes to these tier list guys. I'm Mr. Objective. That's what they like to call me over here on MMA YouTube. So we'll stick Merab in the C tier. I can't talk too much about this, right? We can't go through every single one of his fights, but just recent memory, he is getting dropped a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Sean O'Malley KOs him. Why am I saying so many times, bro? I sound like a fucking moron, but whatever. You know, let's move on. Bobby Knuckles is going to be in the C tier with Merab. You know, they're going to be hugging in the C tier because, dude, Robert Whittaker, every fight he has, I might even put him in the D tier. I'm sorry. I'm putting him in the D tier. It's unfair to have him with Merab because he has been knocked out by Dricus. He's been knocked out by Izzy. He's been knocked out, you know, back in the days by fucking Wonderboy and all these guys, you know, karate teacher Wonderboy. But he's also getting wobbled in every fight. There is a moment in every single one of his fights where he gets wobbled, okay? I know you guys are talking about his recent fight with, what the fuck's his name? The Dagestani Rat, right? I can't even remember his name at this moment, guys. I'm sorry. But, you know, even against the Paulo Costa fight, there was a huge moment at the end of round 1, right? Where he got fucking hit with a spinning heel kick or some shit. I don't even remember the kick right now, but I just remember he was fucking wobbling, man. He was almost out. If that round was a little bit longer, he might have been out. So we have to remember that, you know, Bobby Knuckles might be your favorite fighter, and he's a cool guy, right? I like him. He's a cool fighter, cool-ass fighter, but he does not have the best chin. So we'll put him in the D tier, guys. It's unfair to put him in the tiers, you know, with Merab. So we'll put him in the D tier. Volkanovski. So Alexander Volkanovski, fucking F tier, bro. He just got knocked out twice. I mean, how can you not have him in the F tier? No, we're not going to put him in the F tier. We're going to put him in the B tier, okay? Because I know you guys have heard the rumors that, you know, Volk is in the retirement home and he's slipping in the shower and getting knocked out. That's how weak his chin is, right? But if we're looking at this objectively, just because Volk got knocked out by Topuria, you know, Topuria who can knock out everybody, bro. Topuria can knock out a brick wall. He can knock out a brick wall, so we're not going to count that too much against him. And then the Islam fight, that was on very short notice, you know, on 2 days' notice, pretty much. So Volk deserves to be in the B tier, okay? After the shots that he's eaten in his career, and, you know, you don't see him getting wobbled that much. You don't see him getting knocked down that much. We got to pay him his respect, okay? He deserves to be in the B tier. I don't care. You guys are looking at this maybe very with a lens that is, you know, recency bias, and you're saying Volk deserves to be in the fucking D tier. He does not. He should be in the B tier when it comes to his chin, okay? So we're going to leave him there. That's enough of an explanation. Let's move on. Sean Strickland. We're going to put Sean Strickland in the A tier. A tier, okay? He got knocked out by Pereira, but you guys may be noticing a pattern here with Jiri and Sean Strickland that, you know, getting knocked out by Pereira, we cannot count that too much against you, okay? It's inevitable to get knocked out by Pereira. You know, it's very sad, but it's true. So Sean Strickland should be in the A tier. He has been in there applying pressure to a guy like Izzy. You know, Izzy, I don't care what you want to say. You know, you can be an Izzy hater. I'm a bit of an Izzy hater myself, but he does have some pop in his shots, right? He does have some pop in his shots. You got to give him some respect. And Sean Strickland gave him no respect and marched him down. And, you know, you saw when a guy like Dricus did that, he was getting hit with some big shots. So Sean Strickland doing that does deserve some respect. And there's not many times where Sean Strickland's been wobbled or knocked down or knocked out or anything like that. So if we're looking at Sean Strickland, he is an A-tier chin. He does have an A-tier chin, and I think a lot of people discredit him maybe, and a lot of people look past his chin, but it is something that he does utilize and that is, you know, is underrated. Max Holloway. Now, I think Max Holloway is probably like a C tier. He got dropped by Justin Gaethje, so we'll put him in the C tier. No, we're gonna put him in the fucking S tier, all right? So, Max Holloway. He got dropped by Justin Gaethje, but it was one of those drops like the Chito Vera situation where you might want to say it's a knockdown, but the guy got up right away. So, you know, he wasn't dazed, you know. And with that being said also, one thing that I should say, you know, because everybody likes to have Max in the S tier, but he does get rocked sometimes. We have seen him get rocked a little bit, like in the Dustin fight. You know, I know it was short notice, and I know it was up a weight class and whatever, and Max was fat, but, you know, we still got to look at it. It's a fight. It's a fight, right? So he might not be on the level of like Jones or Chito, even in my opinion. You know, I know you guys love to hate on Chito, so it's whatever. But if we're looking at it, Max Holloway has eaten some pretty big shots, but He's also been knocked down once, but I don't count that knockdown against him, honestly. And he obviously is an S tier chin, so there's no debating that. Top 3 chins probably all time. We'll leave it at that. Okay. Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes has never been knocked out, right? I think Curtis Blaydes has never been knocked out, so he's probably A tier in my opinion. Let's move on though. No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. Curtis Blaydes is like a C tier, if we're being realistic. Maybe even a D tier. I don't know if I should have him with Merab. We might move that in a bit, but you know, dude, Curtis Blaydes is the type of guy to get knocked out in every big fight that he has. You know, he gets knocked out against Pavlovich. He gets knocked out against fucking Tom Aspinall. He gets knocked out against Derek Lewis. So I think the C tier is a fair place for him. He might even drop down to D tier because he has been knocked out quite a bit, but he has that heavyweight. We have to keep that in mind. He's about a lower tier, mid-tier chin, so, well, I think the C tier is a fine place for him for now. Marvin Vettori, I think Marvin is like S tier. S tier. Let's put him at the S tier. I know everybody, you know, if you guys notice the S tier is always usually the same for everybody's videos, so I don't want to kind of talk about these guys for too long, but Marvin Vettori's a beast, bro. Marvin Vettori just eats these shots. You know, he's got the Italian power, and he's got the Italian chin, so there's not much to say about Marvin, but Marvin Vettori does eat shots, and he's a fucking beast, bro. This guy's a future champ, in my opinion, but in reality, you know, he does have a good chin. We gotta give him his respect, put him on the pedestal, so we'll move past this guy. Let's move on to Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell is one of those guys who's kind of there with Marvin Vettori, and he's always one of those guys in the S tier. But then then you got to remember he gets KO'd by everybody. I've heard rumors that this guy is sparring with Tabitha Ricci, and Tabitha Ricci knocked him out with the big gloves. And you know, I've heard some other rumors. Mackenzie Dern's knocking him out. And he's sparring with the women. That's what I've heard. Those are just rumors that I've heard. But Matt Schnell, at the end of the day, he's one of those guys that everybody kind of knows him for having a weak chin. Glass chin Matt. That's what we like to call him over here. And, you know, it's sad to see. But Matt Schnell's obviously a beast. Don't want to discredit him. You know, guys, he made it to the UFC. He's a beast. So, Matt Schnell, we'll give him his respect. Put him in the F tier. Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is going to be making a surprise visit to the S tier, okay? I know you guys might be looking at this because, you know, we don't want to think outside the box. We want to say, S tier, Max Holloway, Jon Jones, obviously you're going to have Marvin Vettori in there. You know, the guys have never been knocked down. But, I'm sorry to tell you this, Ilia Topuria is a new member of the S tier, so expect to see him in the future, future videos when guys make videos on who has the best chin, because Ilia Topuria does have an insane chin, okay? I know you guys are immediately saying, bro, got dropped by fucking Jai Herbert, bro. Okay, I don't care. He instantly recovered from that, and he looked great, and he knocked him out the next round, right? So, that's really the only moment we have seen Ilia Topuria been knocked out. Not even knocked out. What am I saying? Knocked down, right? And he instantly recovered from it. It was a shot that he completely did not see coming. A very powerful head kick. You know, most people would go out for that. That's the thing that I'm trying to tell you guys. Most people would go out for that. You know, guys like Volk. I'm sorry. I love Volk, but he would go out from that shot. So, when you look at a guy like Ilia, you could expect him to eat these big shots in the future, especially if he sees them coming. And he was slugging in the... Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't bring this up. He was slugging in the pocket with Josh Emmett and outclassed him in the pocket. Who does that? Wait. In case you guys haven't realized by now, I am an Ilia Topuria glazer, but he does belong in the S tier, and that's actually objective. Especially after his performance against Josh Emmett. You would literally be hating if you would put him anywhere below S tier. A tier, maybe you're like a little bit more objective than me, but still, I think he deserves to be in the S tier. Just because he got dropped by Jai Herbert once does not mean he's fucking C tier or some shit. Let's move on. Belal Muhammad. We're going to put Belal in the B tier because the B tier stands for Belal. Now, obviously, Belal is one of these guys who has been knocked out in the past. We've seen him get knocked out by Matt Schnell. No, I'm fucking with you. We've seen him get knocked out by Luque. You know, we've seen him get wobbled a couple times, right? Like the Leon fight, the original Leon fight. I thought Leon was going to put him the fuck out in this next fight. And so when I saw that Belal was marching him down and, you know, not respecting him at all, I realized that Belal's chin is actually improved. So, I might have had Belal in like the C tier honestly before. He's jumped up to the B tier, and he might honestly be in like that spot right like hovering between A and B. I might even move him up to A, depending on what day and depending on how I'm feeling. But we'll put him in the B tier for now. I think Belal deserves to be in the B tier. And we got to pay him his respects, guys, especially if he's, not giving respect to these guys. I know Leon is one of those guys that he's not really a knockout artist, right? But still, he's eating shots. He's marching down guys. We got to put him in the B tier. And we got to give our respects to remember the name, right? Let's move on to Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker has Johnny Walker ever been knocked out? Johnny Walker hasn't even been knocked out before, so he's S tier, right? Johnny Walker's in the S tier. Right? Oh shit, he did get knocked out. He's got knocked out a couple times. We'll have to put him in the F tier. I've made this joke like 15 times. It's probably so, I don't know if I can say that word. It's a bit tarded, right? I made that joke too many times, but whatever. We're gonna have him in the F tier. Obviously this guy's a goofy Uber. He gets knocked out in like the funniest ways possible. This guy, he's another guy. He's been sparring with women, is what I've been hearing. Even the men's flyweights have a little bit too much power for him, so he has been sparring with the women. I've heard him and Mackenzie Dern have been getting some good rounds in, and Matt Schnell and him go back and forth in the gym, and they're actually KOing each other. Believe it or not, they have these good rounds where they just they KO each other, and first one to get KO'd is actually the winner, right? They compete for who has the worst chin. So that's a little fun game that they like to do. But everybody knows by now, Johnny Walker, Big John Walker, he has a pretty bad chin. So we'll have to put him in the F tier. I'm very sorry, Johnny. Let's take a little peek. Who should we do next? We'll do Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus got knocked out on the regional scene. He's a fucking F tier, bro. Let's see. Dricus should be A tier, unless I'm tripping right now. But Dricus should be A tier. He looks like he gets wobbled a lot, but he recovers very well, and I think that's part of his fight style. Fair enough. He probably has manipulated me into thinking that he's a bit of a gaslighter. We all know that. He's probably gaslighted me into thinking that he has an A tier chin, but as of right now, I think he does have an A tier chin. He looked pretty decent against Izzy. I know I think I said earlier in this video he got wobbled by Izzy, but it's whatever. Dude, he's so weird. It's the way he fights. Like, I swear I thought he got knocked out, and then it's just turns out he's just shooting a fucking takedown when Izzy's like behind. It was the weirdest shit ever. In the Izzy fight, he got knocked down like 15 times, but none of them were counted, so it's weird. So I'll have to put him in the A tier though, because I honestly think he does have a pretty good chin. So A tier for Dricus, We'll put Leon Edwards. We got Leon Edwards up next. Where should Leon go, bro? Dude, this is going to be controversial because Leon hasn't been knocked out, right? But Leon's in the B tier for me because Leon does get fucking wobbled. Leon was getting wobbled by Belal, bro. It's just bad look, bro. And I used to like Leon, actually. I still do like him. He's a cool little guy, but, his fight style is pretty boring. And his chin, dude, I can objectively say his chin isn't that good in my opinion. He hasn't been knocked out, I don't think, right? But he's been wobbled by guys like Nate Diaz, and that's the thing. Even if you haven't been knocked out or knocked down or whatever, you could still have a bad chin if you're getting fucking wobbled all the time, right? So that just goes into your recoverability, right? If you're able to recover, it's whatever. But Leon's getting not knocked out, bro. What am I saying? I'm just stumbling over myself now, but you guys know what I'm trying to say, right? He's been wobbled by Nate Diaz, and he was getting wobbled by Belal Muhammad and whatever, so we're going to put him in the B tier. Maybe I'm being too cruel, too harsh on him. Maybe he should be in the A tier, but I think for now, bro, I don't know. I might be hating too much, dude. I'll put him in the B tier. I'll put him in the B tier. Move on to Kevin Holland. I think Kevin Holland should be in the S tier. I'm putting him in the S tier. I know you guys are probably maybe pointing to that Mikhail Oleksiejczuk little flash knockdown or whatever the fuck that was. But I think Kevin Holland has an S tier chin. I think most people would agree with this by now. He eats a lot of shots in the octagon. He's a fucking beast, bro. A lot of these S tier guys, these are S tier guys for everybody, so I don't like talking about them for too long, but whatever. We're gonna put Kevin Holland in the S tier. And let's just move on real quick. Let's move on to Sean O'Malley. This guy's a fucking clown, bro. Put him in the fucking D tier, bro. We'll put him in the A tier. We'll put him in the A tier. Sean O'Malley's in the A tier. You know, I know Chito Vera knocked him out. Not really, but it's whatever. We'll put him in the A tier, right? We'll put him in the A tier because you gotta put some respect on his name. You know, I'm not the biggest O'Malley fan, but I recognize that his chin is pretty good. You know, he was eating some good shots from guys like Jan. Obviously, the Chito fight was a bit shit, and, you know, Chito didn't land really any shots on him. I don't like to think about it, but it's whatever, man. We haven't really seen, I should also say this, the thing is we haven't really seen Sean O'Malley's chin tested that many times, I feel like, against, like, higher levels of competition, you know, because Chito really didn't land much on him. But, dude, I think Sean O'Malley still deserves to be in the A tier. I know he got, like, kind of, dude, this is the weird thing, the fucking UFC never counts knockdowns or whatever, but he did kind of get, like, knocked down a bit by Peter Yan, if I remember right. But, yeah, so I think he'll be in the A tier. I think he deserves to be in the A tier, you know. We haven't seen him too badly hurt. Too badly hurt, except for the Yan fight. So, we'll stick him in the A tier, you know. If you're not, I'll say this. If Chito Vera is not knocking you out or wobbling you, because, you know, you guys might want to hate on Chito, but at the end of the day, he does have power, okay? So, if he's not really hurting you, you have a good chin, right? So we'll do that, and let's move on to DP, Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier. Where should Dustin go, bro? I'm going to the B tier, but we'll put him in the B tier, guys, because Dustin has been knocked out a couple times, you know, in his career, and he's been wobbled a couple times. Obviously, like the Justin Gaethje knockout is probably the one you guys are thinking about because it's most recent or whatever, but guys, I mean, Dustin has been known to, like, he kind of get knocked out sometimes, you know. Back in the day, I know I'm looking at Pipsqueak Dustin right now, if I say, like, the McGregor knockout or whatever, TKO kind of thing, but I think Dustin's B tier. It's fair to put him in the B tier with guys like Volk, okay? When you're in the B tier, it doesn't mean you have a bad chin, it just means it's decent, right? You've been knocked out maybe in the past, but you're not that chinny, right? So we'll put him in the B tier. And let's move on to Alex Pereira. Alex got knocked out by Izzy, so we're going to put him in the D tier. And let's move on to our last guy. No. We're going to put Alex in the fucking A tier, okay? I know you guys are saying Alex got knocked out by Izzy, and you guys might be counting that against him, but I don't count it against him, especially when it was at middleweight, when Alex was having probably the worst weight cut of his life. Very bad weight cut by the looks of it, cutting, 800 pounds. So you can't really count that against him. And obviously, guys, we know Izzy is a KO artist, so we're gonna put Alex in the A tier, actually above Izzy, which isn't that crazy when you think about it, because now he fights at light heavyweight and he does get hit by some big shots and he does take them. So I think it's fair enough to put Alex in the A tier, and that's not that crazy of a take, right? If you're an Alex hater, you might want Alex in the F tier, but A tier is the more objective take. Alright, so our last guy here we are going to be talking about is my favorite fighter in the world, bro. Alexandre Pantoja. Ooh. Dude, I might honestly put him in the S tier. Boo. I might put him in the S tier. No. I'll put him in the A tier. Because was he getting wobbled in the Royval fight? I can't remember right now, bro. But I think he still has a really good chin. Regardless, he's eating some good shots by Erceg. I don't remember in the Royval fight. I think he might have been wobbled a bit. Can't really fully remember, but I'm still gonna put him in the A tier. It's just hard to earn your way to the S tier. You gotta be a guy like Ilia Topuria to finally break the ground and earn your way to the S tier. With the big players like Max Holloway, But for now, Pantoja's in the A tier. Maybe if he fights a guy like Whittaker France and he takes some shots from him, he could move his way up to the S tier. But I think A tier is respectable. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, that's it for the tier list, guys. I mean, I know, dude, I feel bad because I just left Whittaker in his own tier, but at least he's not F tier. Maybe he could join the C tier, but for now, this tier list is weird looking, but it's whatever. We didn't get that many chinny guys, I guess, because this was looking at the champs and like the recent title challengers or whatever. I didn't want to grab the whole fucking UFC and make this video 300 minutes long, but it's whatever. It's a good tier list. Let me know if you guys disagree in the comments with any of my placements. But leave a like. I appreciate the support. Like I said, once again, I think we just hit like 30 subscribers, which is insane to me. That's pretty good to me. I like it. So, thank you very much for the support. Subscribe for daily MMA videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.